let's look at stem and leaf plots. So let's look at an example. So we have some unemployment rates in each of the 50 United States plus the District of Columbia in June 2008. And we want to create a stem and leaf plot and a split stem and leaf plot. So first thing we want to do here is I usually construct a kind of rough draft, so to speak. So let's construct a rough draft. So I'm going to draw my line to separate my stem and leaves. So I'm going to kind of scan my values here. So I'm dealing with 1 digit to the left of the decimal place and 1 digit to the right. So usually what you want to do is your stems can contain multiple digits, but your leaves only contain 1 digit is how this works. So our stems here, so we scan through our data. We have values from 2.8, I think, to 8.5 somewhere in here. 8.5. So we need a stem to represent all of its values. So I have a stem for 2 points, 3 points, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and 8s. So it's really important when we're doing a stem and leaf plot that we put a key, because we don't know if we're dealing with decimals or large numbers or what those values represent. So let's put a key down here. So we may, oops. Also hear this called a legend. So you always want to make sure you include that. So a key here that says, so let's just pick a value. So let's go with 2-8 represents 2.8%. So make sure you have some kind of key so we know what type of data we're working with. So what we're going to do, and I call this rough draft because you want your leaves to be in order from smallest to largest, so ascending order, is just go through and get my data value. So 4.7, I'm going to mark these off as I go. 6.8, 4.8, 5.0, 6.9. So you get the feel, so you would just keep doing that. So eventually you get a rough draft drawn out, and then what you're going to do is you're going to reorder those so they're in order from smallest to largest, and this so happens that they are. So let me get a couple more. So maybe they're not. So for instance, this will need to be rewrote, so it was 2, 7, 8, since those are not in ascending order there. So when you finish here, your stem and leaf plot should be in order. Cover this one up. It's not got there yet. So you can see there that I have these in order. So 2s, 3s, then my 8s, then my 9s. So they're in order from smallest to largest. So you can see the shape of the distribution if you flip that over there on its side. So next thing we'll look at is a split stem and leaf plot. So let's erase this. Oops. Again, we want the key there. So we have a split stem and leaf this time. And again, this one's rough, but you're going to split it up so you have your small parts and your large parts. So I have 2 stems for every piece now. Let me get all this on the screen here. And then one more 8 there, right? So I'm going to do, in this first part, 0 through 4, and then 5 through 9, right? 0 through 4 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 through 9 is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So both of those are 5 digits, so we're splitting that in half. So that 2.8 that we had would go here, right? And if we start at 4.747, so 7 goes here, 6, 8 is in the second one, right? So let's look at our final draft here. So notice there are going to be some stems without leaves, so if you have some values there that aren't represented, so there was no 7.0, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, so I don't have any values for those. But you can still see the distribution shape. So just to remind you, you want to pick the one that best depicts the data. So what is the advantage of stem and leaf plots over histograms? So a stem and leaf plot, we can obtain our raw data back from a stem and leaf plot. So that may be one reason you want to use stem and leaf plots over a histogram. So just keep that in mind. I think that sums up stem and leaf plots.